Welcome back, class 7. So we are again here to discuss the remaining portions of the chapter 3 of geography, that is our changing earth. Before going into much detail and finishing the remaining part, I would like to have a quick recapitulation of what we have already learned. Well, we have seen that the changing surface of the earth is caused by the two different movements. One that's happened inside the earth's surface, or the endogenic movements, and the other that's actually happened onto the earth's surface, or the exogenic movements. Well, these two movements are caused by several factors. The endogenic movements, or the movement that happens interior of the earth, is nothing but the reaction of the moving lithospheric plates and onto the earth's surface, and the exogenic movement is the reaction or the result of the erosion and depositional effect, or the actions of different natural agents of erosion. So then we have to know what are the natural agents of erosion. First is water, then we have the moving ice or glacier, we have wind, we have sea waves, etc. So in reading, we have read about the different formations or the different landforms created by a river on its way. And we have already discussed that as a river flow down, like first it originates from a mountain and it flows down the valley, and after crossing the mountain plateau it enters the plain region, and finally it meets its mouth, that is the another ocean or a bigger water body. So in having this long journey, in deciding this long journey, a river has three different courses, or the upper course, middle course, and the lower course, or we can say a mountain course, a middle course, and a lower course. So in these three courses, while a river moves along these different courses, it has separate work to be done, and separate in different way it moves. So in the mountainous trail, a river is much vigorous, it is much youthful, it is a youthful stage of a river. So the main action done by the river is erosion. It will erode. The primary work is erosion. When it enters its second stage, the primary work will be what? I have told you, please try to remember, is transportation. Whatever the river was eroding now, like till date, it will try to transport all the materials along with her, all right? And then subsequently, when it enters the third stage or the lower stage, then it will try to deposit those materials. So first is erosion, then transportation, then deposition. And last day I have also given you the different diagrams of the different many other features formed by a river in its courses. All of them you won't get it in the book, but for your knowledge you need to remember that a waterfall, a potholes, everything, a gorge, a canyon are formed in its upper stage. Okay, a levee is formed, how a natural levee or a floodplain is formed, and how a delta looks like, you all need to know. That is why I gave you a little elaborated material last day. I hope you have gone through it. If you have any queries regarding the same, you can get back to me. Well, today we will see the work of a sea waves. Okay, sea waves is also a very powerful natural agents of erosion. So how does it work? The erosion and deposition of the sea waves give rise to coastal landforms. Sea waves continuously strike at the rock, and the cracks develop. Over time, they become larger and wider, and thus the hollow cave-like structures are formed on the rocks. They are called the sea caves. Okay, as these cavities become bigger and bigger, only the roof of the caves remain, thus forming sea arches. So first form the sea caves, then it becomes, with more erosion, sea arches. Further erosion are left Further erosion break the roofs and only walls are left. These walls are wall-like features are called stacks. The steep rocky cast rising above vertically almost above the sea water is called the sea cliff. The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores, forming beaches. So we will see that where the action of tidal waves are pretty active, there first forms the sea caves. You have the diagram here in figure 3.7. In case you don't have a very clear picture, I can give you an alternative diagram. That's all right. Okay, so I'll give you a better version of the picture, no problem. So first we have the sea caves, then we have the sea arches, then stack, and finally the sea cliff. So this is how a sea wave tortures or attacks even the hard rocks that are the part of the coastal area along a sea or along the coast. Okay, now we are coming to the work of ice or work of the moving ice called glaciers. Glaciers are also called the rivers of ice, which too erode the landscape by bulldozing the soil and stones. So here significantly we have seen that when the sea waves work, the main work is erosion and deposition. Alright, and here in the work of ice that the glacier does, the main work is bulldozing the soil and stones to expose the solid rock below. So it is basically abrasion. So the work is abrasion. Glaciers carve out deep hollows there, okay, where underneath where it was bulldozing the soil and stones and it was able to expose the solid rock. There it starts carving deep hollows. As a result, ice melts, they get filled up with water and become beautiful lakes in the mountain. The materials carried by the glacier, such as rocks, big and small, sand, silt, gets deposited. This deposited form glacial moraines. So the glacial moraines are the result of the glacier deposition. When they start depositing after the abrasive effect, they start creating moraines, and many forms of moraines are there: lateral moraine, horizontal moraine, vertical moraine. Okay, so many form of moraines are there. So it is basically the depositional feature of the ice of the glacier, and we have a lot of features related to the glacial erosion. I will give you the definition and a separate material along with it. Alright, I will give you the for my YouTuber friends, I'll give you the link. You can just go through about them. Now the work of wind. For the work of wind, we have now secondly, it is said that, have you ever visited a desert? Try to collect some pictures of sand dunes. So when we talk about desert, the first thing that comes into our mind is a vast stretch of sand and crescent shaped sand dunes. Okay, so the work of